Hi, this is Anna. Welcome. In this video, I'll show you how I paper piece die cuts and the tools I use to make it a little easier. I know it can be a little intimidating for some, but if you don't like to color in intricate details on your die cuts, this process is a great alternative. But before we dive in, I'll show you the products I'll be using. I'll be using this luggage dies from Hero Arts. They have a lot of fun little details like locks and straps. This set also comes with a globe and little luggage tags. If you're into coloring, these are fun dies to color. But today I'll be paper piecing using pattern paper. Speaking of pattern paper, I pulled a pad from my stash that I've had with me for what seemed like forever. I chose this because it has a vintage feel, which was the vibe I was going for in my card. Before I show you the process, let's take a closer look at the one I made. Here I used different pattern papers for each luggage, and I also added gold details for accents like the locks and such. The background is a cling stamp from Hero Arts called Antique Map, which I think rounds out the whole vintage vibe theme. Before I start die cutting, I make sure to align each die with the patterns on the paper. For example, like this one, I wanted the lace design to align with the main body of the luggage piece. And this one, the diamond pattern is evenly spaced on all sides. Off camera, I did die cut all the pieces I'll need for my card. I die cut one with pattern paper, then using the same die, I die cut with gold mirror cardstock for the locks and the other accents, which was from scraps in my stash. Then I also use craft paper. This one will be for leather straps and other piping details of the luggage. Now let's start the paper piecing process. These are the tools I use to paper piece. I have a sticky mat, a pickup tool, glue with a fine tip, and scissors with a sharp point, which I bought in Spain. If you don't have something similar to this, I am linking a good alternative in the description box below. I take one of the die-cut pattern paper luggage pieces and place it down on the sticky mat. This helps in making sure the body of the luggage doesn't move around while I glue in the paper pieced details. Next, I will cut out the stitched leather piping portion of the luggage from the die-cut craft paper. The good thing about these dies from Hero Arts, it cuts out a significant portion of these little details and just leaves small parts still attached, which makes it so much easier to paper piece. After cutting out the piping, I also cut out the handle portion of the luggage. I then added a thin line of glue on the area where the piping details are and carefully positioned them before patting them down. Liquid glue allows me some wiggle room to make sure everything is well placed and aligned. I used the sticky end of the pickup tool to place the tiny die-cut pieces. This is so essential in getting them well placed and prevents the tips of my fingers from getting all sticky. But before I add the leather handle detail to the luggage, I will first cut out the other accents from the one I die cut out of gold mirror cardstock. In this particular die cut, the locks come out easily as it is not attached. I simply pull it out, add glue to the area, and then use the pickup tool to place it in the right spot. Next, I cut out the rest of the locks and adhere them in place. I like to cut them out piece by piece and glue them as I go, so I don't lose the pieces and I know exactly where they are placed. But for brevity purposes, I skip some parts of my cutting them out. you will just see me gluing them on in some instances. Here I'm gluing in the metal portion of the handle before gluing in the leather part. This particular luggage piece is one of the more intricate ones in the set. Aside from the locks, it also has leather straps and metal corner details. First, I will cut out all the metal details using the gold mirror die cut of the luggage. Using my pointy tip scissors, I just follow the little cuts in the paper. Then I add glue to the area and place it down with the pickup tool. Sometimes I use the other end of the pickup tool to wiggle it into its proper place. After adhering the corner details, I will add the locks and the metal portion of the handle. Then after all the metal details are in place, I will cut out the straps and then add glue and stick them down. Then off camera, I did the same to the rest of the luggage pieces. To add more depth and definition to each piece of luggage, I will use colored pencils, sepia for the shadows and a little bit of Tuscan red for added color. I make sure my Prismacolor pencils are nice and sharp to make the coloring of these little die cuts easier. I take the sepia pencil and trace along the edges of the leather details. I also trace around the metal details to create a shadow behind each accent. I also add shading to the edges to create the look of dimension. Adding these shadows with a colored pencil really makes the luggage look very vintage. I will turn up the music a little when I color in these die cuts, and I'll be back when we move on to the next part of the project. I'm done coloring all the luggage die cuts, so now I can glue them together in a stack, starting with the widest piece of luggage first, then the second widest, etc., with the narrowest one at the top. I add a line of glue at the top of each piece, then place the next size, making sure it's centered. I continue doing this until I have all the die cuts glued together. Off camera, I used the antique map cling stamp from Hero Arts to heat emboss on a panel of craft paper using clear embossing powder. This created a sort of faded look to the background. Then, to give it a more distressed antique look, I will tear the edges. I grip the paper on the area where I want to start tearing, then with my other hand, I start tearing it with an upward motion. I will do this on all sides of the panel. To further define the edges, I will heat emboss it with gold. First, I swipe the edges with an embossing ink pad. Then, I sprinkled gold embossing powder in a straight line along the fold on a piece of coffee filter. I then dipped each edge of the panel onto the embossing powder. I used the brush to dust off any excess powder before heat setting it. I have all my elements ready now to assemble the card. First, I will add glue to the back of the antique map background. You can see here that I added 2 panels of scrap cardstock to give it a bit of a dimension. Then I adhered it to a panel of terracotta cardstock. Next, I took the stack of luggage, of which I also placed some cardstock dimension, added glue to the back, and then adhered it on top of the antique map background. I placed the little bag at the bottom right side of the stack. Then the sentiments "Bon Voyage, have a good trip" onto the upper left. The sentiment is from My Monthly Hero August 2022 kit. I finished off the card by adding the 2 luggage tags. I hope you have enjoyed my tutorial so far, and if you would like to see more card making and paper crafting projects, please like, comment, and subscribe to my channel. You can also check the video description below for the products I used in this video, or you can check the complete list on my blog post linked below. In the meantime, I hope you have a wonderful and crafty day. Till next time, bye!